welcome to Golf Diaries. Welcome back to summer. So I'm gonna get Chubs out. Put a bit of treatment on her nose. You saying that? I might see if I can just do it in the pond. I might just blob a bit of tamidine on it. But then again, no, I'll get her out, give it a bit of a proper clean up. Crazy fish. So that's the plan of attack with that. And as I said last week, I was going to do a couple of scrapes. I was watching them again yesterday. Not a ton of flashing, that was having a mad moment, that shower, and the other shower was doing some weird thing where it's coming up to the window having a look and then just smashing off. So a couple of scrapes in order. And I've just noticed all the weed, nice fuzz. But this is the side that's getting the more weed growth on. Yeah, let's see, it's getting not majorly long, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. I might do a weed treatment, we'll see. It depends what happens with the scrapes really. But I do want to keep an eye on it to make sure that as soon as it starts getting a little too long, I'll deal with it. Right, so I'll get some bits together, get my microscope set up, and then take it from there. So we'll be back with you in a bit when I've got all my gear out. Two bowls, that's just normal pond water, that's got sedate in it. So the plan is I'm going to get the fish out, I'm going to net her, so I've got my net and my sock ready. So I'm going to net the fish up, put her in there to do a scrape because that's just normal pond water, then transfer her to the sedated water, cover that with a net, go and have a check on my scrape while she's going out, and then we can have a look at her nose in closer detail, and I'll show you all I'm going to do. I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm actually going to film it, again, rightly or wrongly, not always best to follow what I do, but this is just what I'm going to do in this case, and I'll show you what I use and how I do it. Yeah, so they know something's going on because I've been getting the water out of the pond, getting the net and stuff. But as I say, we don't want to really scrape a fish that's been in sedate, it'll potentially slow and kill the parasites down before you've had a chance to see them under the scope. So yeah, fresh pond water, sedated water, that's the plan. Right, we'll be back in a minute when we've got her out, and then hopefully a clear scrape, but you never know. Right, see you in a minute. Scrape device. So the fish is under. She's rolled over now. You can probably just about see it there. So what I've done while she was going over, I checked the scrape, there was 0 on it, so that's good. And I've got everything ready that I need. So I've got a couple of old towel there, something to wipe my hands with, and then the things I'm going to use: wound cleaner, Rocal, Tamidine. I'll put a link in the description below. Got a couple of pads just to dry the area off, and then a couple of cotton buds. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to layer on this portion of sock, which is wet, and then cover it with the wet towel, and then that'll give me a few minutes just to sort her out and make her better. Right, let's do it. So there we go, that's the wound on her nose. So the black is the bruising, because the chag always tends to go black. And just a bit like a blister really. So what I'm going to do, get my cotton pad just to dry that area off. Like that. And then just some of this. Dab that on the wound. And just dry that off. And just drop a bit of Tamidine on it. And I'm hoping that will just clear it up in the next week or so. Literally as simple as that. That's all I'm going to do. So I've had a quick check over in the bowl, which is completely clear everywhere else and everything's looking good, so I'll get her back in the pond straight away. Big girl. She's sort of swimming away on her own now. She just kicked, so I let her go, and then she'll great. It's taken all of a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes, something like that. So as I said, the scrape's clear, so I might get another one just to have another look and check over. We'll call it lucky dip. We'll see what is easy to net. Right, back in a bit. So I've got this one out. This is the Muryama Showa. I got last year at a mega discounted rate because it's got an eye cataract, but it's not that bad. Massive head on it. Yeah, I love this fish. Decent zoom in there, so hopefully all of this stuff eventually will come good. So I'm just going to give her a quick scrape because she's been another one that's been flashing. No marks on her, no veins or anything, but more flashing than I would like to see. And I wanted to have a closer look at her. Oh, fabulous fish. Don't even know how big it is. Let's see if I can get a bit of a 56, 57, something like that. I'll have a look with two hands. Can't even remember what size I got her in at, but I'll have to look back. Right, just getting stressed. I'll get my scrape done and pop her back in. Ooh, cracker. So that's another scrape. Couldn't see anything. I'm going to stop there. I'm stressing everybody out, but maybe gone against what I would normally say, but I suppose because I had to get Chubs out, I wanted to have a little treatment on her nose. I'm going to do some water checks now. I haven't done any for a couple of weeks, so potentially, I know my pH was rising above where it would normally sit at. It was sort of 8.4ish I think last time, so it could be that irritating them. But I've been at it, the air's been off for, I don't know, 8-10 minutes, something like that, not a single flash. And normally Big Frank will normally start smashing the drain as soon as it goes off, but no doubt because the net's in, everyone's having a bit of a flap. So yeah, I'm going to do some water checks. I'm not going to scrape any more fish, and we'll take it from there really. She's sulking. But hopefully it's looking a bit cleaner now. So we'll see. I'm hoping that'll disappear, as I say, within a week or so. I'm going to get my bits put away. It's always handy to have a couple of bowls. If you've only got one, definitely worth investing in another one. It just gives you an option. Plus, if the fish doesn't like when you sedate them, you can quickly transfer them to a fresh clean water and keep an eye on them with no sedate in it, to keep an eye on them. Right, I'm going to tidy up, get a cup of tea, do some water tests, and I'll be back with you in a bit. We'll see how we get on with the water tests. So I talked the other day about food and knowing how much I'm feeding. So I am going to check how much, I've got it written down but I can't find it. I've had a quick look. I'm going to check how much the level of feed that I've got going. I've got it set for 3. I actually upped it up the other day. So I'm going to set it to 3. We're going to get the pellets out and weigh it to see how many grams of food that is per go. So get in. grams, but I lost a bit, but not many. 10 pellets, I don't know, another couple of grams, so 30 grams per go. And I've got that at the minute, 8 in the morning, 12, 4 and 8. So what's that, 4 threes, 120 grams of food a day at the minute. What I'll do now is I'll probably keep it at 30 grams a pop, but just increase the amount of feeds per day, eventually building up to every other hour, a bit what I did last year, from 8 till, I think I ended up doing a slightly later feed as well, 10 o'clock one. So 30 grams of this type of food. I can't remember what it was I'm feeding actually. In a second I'll come back. I don't know what it is because it's still in the tub. I can't remember what I bought last year. I can't remember. Is it still Shuri? You lot probably, someone out there will probably remember. I can't remember unless I go back and look at the videos. Don't know. 120 grams currently per day. So you know, and I know. So I'm doing some water tests. You ready? It's this one. I don't know if you can see that. 4. That's alright. So that's with 120 grams of food, so I'm alright with that. pH is a bit higher than where I would normally like it, 8.4, but the ammonia is really low, so not a lot to worry about there. And I'm still waiting for my nitrite to come in. That's at 2 minutes to go. So I'm going to have to, once again, where are we? Where's the big blue? So I'm going to reverse flow it and give it a bit of a shake up. Now, it's been fine, we're back, for 2 months. So it seems to be, it takes 2 months for the water to trap within the vessel to give me a reading, unless it's spent, but I very much doubt it because I haven't put that much water through it. What I mean by tracking is the water's just made a gap within the carbon and the water is just going through that gap and it's not getting any contact time with unspent carbon, and the chlorine is then making its way out because the water isn't passing through all of the carbon. So exactly what I did last time, I just reverse flowed it. Luckily it's relatively easy to do, so all I'm going to do is, that's my in, that's the out, so I'm just going to swap these two round and just take out the water that's going in the skimmer and just put it into my waste, which is in the overflow here. If you can see, I'm just going to wedge the water pipe in there and then leave that on, give it a shake up, do that for about 10 minutes, then connect it the right way up and flush it through on full bore for maybe 5 minutes, and then do another check and hopefully it'll be zero. But this is exactly what happened in March, looking at my book. So a shake up reverse flow cured the problem. The reason, obviously it was yesterday, I was going to do a couple of scrapes because I thought the fish were looking a bit, I don't know, a bit of flicking and a bit of flashing, and I didn't find anything, did I? That may be the reason why. But this morning, looking at the Shiro, it's quite veiny. A lot more veiny than normal. The other side looked a bit worse than that, so see if we can see up here. across on camera, but the fish is looking quite veiny. So that, in my mind, is probably what the issue is with the fish flicking and flashing. There's a little bit veiny on that fish, maybe even the kahaku. But once again, like I said yesterday, I should have, rather than messing around with scrapes and stressing the fish out, getting them in and out, I should have just, first port of call should always be water checks, because it's easy and it takes minutes and there's no stress involved, unless you've got to bloody sort the carbon out on that. So I'm going to do that right now. And there's my nitrite even, 11. So ammonia good, nitrite good, chlorine not good, pH is just what it is. Oh, the absolute joys. Anyway, I'm going to do that right now. Give it a shake up. So while I'm over here tinkering, so I've just put that on, back on, carried it and broke myself, as you see me just lifting it out. I run it full bore, reverse flow, shook it up, put it back, run it full bore correctly for about 2 or 3 minutes, get rid of the air that's in it. Then I've slowly turned it down to the kind of speed that I think I would like it at. I'm just going to measure that with my jug. So I'll get my timer up. And I'll see how long it takes. I think get it going. So there we go, a litre of water going in the pond every 1.5 minutes ish. That was literally done by eye. That's the kind of speed that I normally run it through at. So now I just need to check this for chlorine. So I'll be back to you with the results. Hopefully it'll be a big fat 0. See you in a minute. I'm at the end of my tether, but we're back to 0. So yeah, it seems to be, it takes maybe 2 months before it needs a bit of a shake up and a reverse flow. So the carbon's not spent, that's good news, because it saved me some dollar. So I need that for my golf holiday. So that's now 0, right in my book. Just a pain. I might next time, rather than shaking it up, I might just reverse flow it at full bore for a couple of minutes to see if that clears it. Save all the aggro dragging it outside. But there we go. Another job off the list. I'm a hero. So one last thing I want to do before I wrap the video up. A few people have asked me about the roof and how it's getting on. So we'll go up there and have a look. Now, obviously this isn't finished because I want to slightly bring it out a bit, so that's all messy. This side's got a fascia on it. That end around there has as well. So to finish the roof I just need the fascia here, and then I need the fascia along here, which is why I've got all of this, because that needs to be folded up. But this all needs moving forward so I can get all that in. So that's a job for a later date. That's a big job, and because potentially going to rebuild the whole of the top of the roof, not the posts, maybe even not these, whatever they're called in the pergola terms, but I want to move it all forward and probably slant it a bit so I don't get any sitting water on the top. But that's a job for a later date. So yeah, so before I go up there, it's not completely finished, it's just these 2 fascia boards, but the roof and everything on the top is. We'll go up there and have a closer look and see what it looks like, because it's doing all right. Oh no, I don't like ladder work. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Some parts are doing a bit better than others. And there's some odd bare patches. That was where we had a gap. Didn't quite have enough. And some of these joints are looking a bit poor. But I'm sure over time it will grow back. As you can see, there's some decent little bits in there. This is where it's dried out, which is why you need the board slightly up and over to protect it from the wind. See, that side's alright, but then this edge here is pretty poor. There's some poor bits on that edge as well, but not overly worried. Looks good. So get in and have a look. It's all basically little succulent plants, loads of different varieties. It's not a wild meadow type flowering roof, which you can get. That needs a bit more maintenance. This is a low maintenance succulent type, as I say. It's frost hardy and drought tolerant, so it doesn't actually need anything doing to it other than if you do see weeds sprouting up. Like a bit of grass there, look. Could be taken out. But other than that, as I say, it doesn't need watering, it doesn't need cutting. So at some point we'll get some flowers on. I don't know what they're going to look like, because some of these succulents do flower, but I don't know. This looks pretty groovy. It's a nice little, oh, and this section here is really good, look. And here, lots of greens and reds. A little bit barer this side, but again, no doubt the weather's picking up. It'll fill itself in. Again, look, that's the fascia that side protecting it. Slightly longer ones there, look. Yes, it looks groovy, doesn't it? We don't really see it from the ground, so it's not like it's not like you're seeing a lot really. It just protects the roof, and obviously we all want to attract insects and look after the planet. I'm not sure if it's offsetting any of my CO2s, but I'm sure it's helping. As you can see, what's saying about the gap, there is no gap here for me to get that fascia board in, so I need to slide the roof forward a bit at some point. So yeah, that's what it looks like. So the pond's now at between 16.5 and 17 degrees, which is good with minimal help from the heater. So again, I'm going to notch that up again probably later today, maybe to 18 degrees, and that will go in line with me getting the auto feeder some more feeds throughout the day with the rising temperatures that I'm going to help with the heater. And also going to start giving them some treats. And normally last few years I've just solely fed pellets, but I fed this stuff before when I had a grow on tank and the fish loved it, so I'm sure these lot will again. I'm sure when Chubs sees that there's food going in, she'll be straight on it. So I'm just going to give them a couple of handfuls of this a day, probably that sort of size amount of handful, just as an additional bit of food, why not? Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Hopefully by the time you see this I've got me behind into gear and got the buyer pictures all stuck together from last year. I won't have names on the photos, obviously for, I don't know, data protection, but I won't have names on the photos. It'll just be a photo in the starting size, so you can pick out the fish that you know you've got to see where you started at. And then we're starting to get ready and prepped for next year's event. So I'll be popping to Adams in a couple of weeks when I'm back from Portugal. I'll be going and catalogue the showers and having a closer look at all the asagi. And then a few weeks after that it will literally be event day, so that will be awesome. Anyway, catch you soon, thanks for watching, see you again, bye.